Sell the dream and build the team. Hey, chapter 5, okay, in our series here of how to sell the dream and build the team. And I still have with me, of course, the fabulous M.L. Williams and Bill Haight, two of our really key leaders here in Capital Choice. And we've just been discussing all kinds of fun things in our first 4 chapters. Chapter 5 is kind of key to me, okay? Chapter 5, what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about how do you lead your team, okay? How do you lead your team? We're going to talk about some about leadership, building relationships, recognition, all those good things. And it's not, somebody comes along and says, well, okay, I built a team now. How do I manage them? I said, you don't. You cannot manage people. You cannot. Everybody here, everybody in Capital Choice is an independent contractor, okay? Everybody's got their own opportunity to build their own team, whether they started yesterday or 10 years ago. Everybody's got the same level playing field, opportunity, promotions, money, income, all those kinds of things. So I have told people, I learned this a long time ago, there's only one person in this world that I can manage, and that's me. You can't manage other people, not in this business. Think about it, this is a volunteer army. They're not in. They didn't get drafted for the duration of the Vietnam War. Okay, they didn't or World War II or what. This is a totally volunteer army. They can quit on you any time. So you got to lead. Okay, and I have seen over time people say, well, they go get a team and then start making a lot of money and they're on the phone. What you got in this week? What do you mean what I got in this week? Okay. Last time I looked, I was an independent contractor. It ain't none of your business, big boy. So, all that does is create dissension and create bad feelings and so on and so forth. So, is everybody perfect? Is every leader perfect? No, but we know the quality. We kind of know how to do it at the end of the day. Build leadership. Define it.
Well, in my experience, leadership is being there for people. Getting them to understand that you're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days. When your best guy leaves you, that opens an opportunity for another person. When somebody declines doing business with you, that's still another opportunity. Staying positive and knowing and having your people understand that if they run into a challenge, you're there for them to help them solve the challenge together. And those things happen. Life gets in the way occasionally. My very first training appointment, back when I was a youngster, my training guy didn't show up. He had problems at home, so I took the appointment myself, learned more about how to do appointments from that.
Well, that's not something we want everybody to do it, though.
No, but the idea is I went back and became a stronger leader for people, being there for people, knowing that some people learn quick, some people learn slow. We'll do it at whatever pace you want to do it, but you got to want to do it. And that's the key to leadership, is being there for people, creating the relationship and strengthening the relationship every day. Inviting people over, we do potlucks, we had the team building event where people got together and it's more than Capital Choice, it's family. Capital Choice is the essence of family, knowing that we've got each other's back. ML lives in Georgia, I live in Phoenix, but we're just like brothers. We talk all the time, we share things, and then we share things with our team the same way. Sharing and caring is true leadership here.
Love it. And along those lines, Dick, leadership to me is like leading from the front.
That's right.
I have always thought about leadership versus management. Managers don't lead from the front. Managers tell you what to go do so they can go take a coffee break or something like that. But in our business model, and what I enjoy most about the leadership portion is that leading from the front goes without words. You don't have to explain to people, if you're leading from the front, what's going on. They see what's going on. They want to become a part of it. And then it becomes an environment. So in our business model, leaders start just peeling off from you. And the next thing you know, you have leaders in your office who are now in partnership with you to protect the environment. no matter what, we got all kind of news stories and news feeds going on right now today with all this negativity about so-called leadership in this country and blah, blah, blah. We inoculate ourselves from that, Bill. We literally just shut off the noise. We don't talk about it in the office. We ain't got time to debate it because we got too many people to help. We got a big job to do. This is not a small job from a leadership standpoint, viewing what this country has to deal with from a personal standpoint in middle Americans' finances. So we don't have time to sit around and debate whether or not stuff that we can't control is going to be fixed. What we know we can fix as a leader is what we can fix right within our house. So that's part of what I see leadership here. It's not the whole thing, but from the front, man, making it happen from the front, and then other leaders start spurning off of you, and you just have an office that is starting to produce leaders that are leading from the front.
So I agree with it. It's not just and leading by example.
Yes, sir.
Is not just doing the business yourself.
No,
that's a part of it.
That's a part of it.
That's a part of it. If you're going to lead a team, then you need to be having some success. You need to be working the business in some form or fashion where you're having some success.
That's a part of it.
Right, that's a part of it. But the bigger part of it is attitude.
Yes, sir.
At the end of the day, a leader has a responsibility to stay positive,
Yes, sir.
to be happy, And like Bill said, hey, bad things gonna happen. Somebody's gonna quit on you that you never ever thought. I mean, you look at the history of capital choice, and I've had people to leave, from time to time, and sometimes folks will say, well, so and so left. Doesn't that bother you? I said, who?
Same here, Dick. Same here.
Yes.
Same here.
Very
As
much.
a leader, I feel it's my responsibility to be able to shed that and not even have that affect our business.
Let it go. Be positive. Be happy. If you can't be happy, and I go back. Art Williams once said, is one of my favorite quotes of his of all time, and he's talking about leadership, and he said, nobody wants to follow a dead, dulled, disillusioned crybaby. You better get your attitude right and keep it right, And y'all have heard me say this many times. I learned a long time ago, attitude is a choice. I thought it was natural. I mean, I thought these people are just, yeah, man, I'm great. I'm great. Everything's wonderful. But I thought, well, they got a different gene than I do. Okay, but it's not true. It's making a choice to be positive, to be happy, and don't worry about that which you can't control. Do the best to control what you're supposed to, and then go on. And stay positive, stay happy. Yeah.
Well, I firmly believe, and I tell everyone all the time, your attitude determines your altitude. Mm-hmm. You'll go as high as you want if your attitude is positive. There are no such thing as negative winners, mm-hmm. only positive winners. And that's, every day is a new opportunity to do something different to help people. I love Mondays. People hate Mondays. I love them.
I love Mondays.
Because
love it.
There's things I didn't get done on the weekend I can do on Monday. Yeah. And share the positivity of leadership by, as ML and Dick have both said, set the example. Be first. I know that in my earlier years, we'd get a new product or whatever. I'd take it out for a spin before everybody else to show them that it works. And then they can get them and teach them the possibilities.
And I think I don't mean to cut you off,
No,
Bill,
but
what is this on my mind? I think that we need to dummy down the title of leadership. I mean, it's not that difficult. I mean, as a leader within our business model, we are assertive from the standpoint that, like you stated, we go out and we control our attitude, but but in addition to that, our activity. Because we're actually, those are only two things we can control in this business. So our activity is strong, which obviously we got to have that good attitude to make it strong, but people notice that. Mm-hmm. Our teammates notice that. We're on stage, as a leader, we're on stage all the time. There is no off days as a leader when you're in our business model. You may think you could take an off day, but I promise you that one moment you think you're off camera or off stage, somebody's watching you. Because
they're leading by example all the time, either good or bad.
That's right.
One or the other.
One of the other things,
and it's your choice.
Leadership spurs, in a good way, is competition.
Yes.
We in my current hierarchy right now, we've got a couple of people who are vying for RMD, the pinnacle position in our company, the sweet spot in our company, where you actually own your own agency and everything else. And we've started to compete with another organization to do that, so everybody wins. And that competition is friendly and it's fun, and there's going to be rewards at the end by doing the right things, leading them. And as a leader, I said, okay, well, one of the trips is to the Bahamas. You win, I'll pay for your trip to the Bahamas. Why? Because I want to show them that that's a possibility. It wasn't always a possibility, but now it is. And you can do it too. And setting the example for other people to do the right things through leadership, family, and competition. It's kind of fun.
Good stuff.
And I get people that, and I've had so many people over the years, well, I'm just an average and ordinary person. I wasn't, I wasn't born a leader. Leaders are born. People are born and they're leaders. They got charisma and they got this. And I said, wow. Wrong, totally and completely wrong. Leadership is assumed. It's not granted. It's not anointed. It's assumed. And I'm not going to tell the whole story, but I learned that a long time ago in the military. I had to assume leadership. I had no choice. That's right. Okay. Nobody's born a leader. No. So people may have more personality, more charisma, et cetera, but we got, but we've got leaders of all walks of life, looks, everything in this company.
That's the beautiful part about it, Dick.
It is. That's wonderful. And it amounts to, as a leader, you got you have three responsibilities in my view. Number one is lead by example. Number two is that positive attitude. I got to always stay positive and happy, right? And past that, because it's infectious.
Yes,
Other people, if you're excited, if you're happy, it's infectious. Other people will catch it. It's like a great communicable disease that I'd like to have spread all over our company, And then thirdly, you got to master building personal relationships and recognition. The two R's. Relationships and recognition. Tell me about personal relationships.
The personal relationships comes natural for a leader. I mean, a leader knows that in order for them to help people reach their goals, that they have to build a relationship of trust, a relationship that also entails credibility, and all that comes in the package of a leader. Mm-hmm. So now, when that happens, the person not only trusts in you, but they're ready to work with you.
You care about them. You care about them. You know about their families.
Yes,
you
sir.
And part of it is, and I've had it happen to me over there. Somebody called me, man, I got all this tough stuff going on, I'm dealing with it, and I'm not where I ought to be, so I had to look, man, I appreciate, I empathize with you,
yes,
and I'll be here to help you when I can. Yes. They don't just celebrate, but you got to celebrate all the way. So I think, to a great extent, this personal relationship stuff is personally liking people.
It's important, Dick. I mean, I actually have a situation where I travel to go see my teammates. Mm-hmm. I'm in Georgia, but I have teammates in Florida. I have teammates in Alabama. But visiting them, building that relationship in Tennessee, yes, sir. And building that in Wyoming, I had a great time at the conference. My team came in from Wyoming. But the thing is that in building those relationships, you get to know the spouses. Mm-hmm. You get to know the kids. Mm-hmm. You get to know what their hobbies are. You get to know that they're baseball coaches. You get to know that they like to, go on vacation certain places. And then you're able, as a leader, to relate.
And the interesting part about leadership, it's not just in capital choice. Like you said, when you're creating personal relationships, you know their families, you know their likes, you know their birthdays, you know them.
It's fun.
They know you.
Yes.
We're totally transparent in our leadership. I mean, everybody knows my wife, Patty.
Of course.
Patty loves the business.
Your better half.
More than better half. I'm married up. But the idea is it's just learning to be there for people, lead by the example, be in their lives, they're in your lives. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've called Dick on a few times with personal issues, and he's helped me out and guided me because he's my upline.
Yeah.
I mean, he thinks about
Same
that.
Here.
CEO happens to be my upline.
He happens to be mine too.
But we don't just talk about business all the time. There's things we talk about. you know, and that's kind of the enjoyable part about it because they're your friends. One of my guys, his car went belly up and it was going to be 6 weeks and he could not afford to rent a car. Well, I happen to have an extra car and I said, why don't you just use it for 6 weeks? We'll cover it. And that's what he did. It had nothing to do with the business. He needed to get back and forth to work. I had the opportunity and I did it. That guy was so grateful and he says, why did you do that? To help you out. That's what we do. We help each other out, not just as clients, not just as associates, but again, I'm back to this, we're a big family.
Big family.
And again, it goes back, it's like building your team, you know, and I always go back again to you know, my early upbringing with Art Williams. And Art always said, look, don't recruit anybody and put anybody on your team that you would not want to take to your home and have Sunday dinner with your family. And that's a kind of an old, that's a, you know, that's art, but it's the same, you know,
Same
who would
concept.
you have
Same
in your
concept,
home? And if that's again, so if you're recruiting the right kind of people, then you're friends. You know, it's easy to build a relationship with good people. You know, I've got a good relationship with both of you guys and everybody else in the CAC that I know of, a lot of people in the company. It's because you're good people, you know.
But iron sharpens iron too, Dick. You know, even from the standpoint of us leaders, Bill and I mean, it's leading our teams, but it's also the leaders coming together to make sure that, you know, we surveying the entire scene, so to speak. So yeah, so I guess this is being said to the RMDs. There's plenty of room for leadership here. Okay, it's unlimited space for leadership. Now, if you was in a management scenario, there's not a lot of room. Okay, there's only
Somebody's got to retire or die.
it's finite.
The second part about that is the leaders share.
Yeah,
We share between each other.
Yeah,
We share with our
iron.
teams. Your training, my training, all the training in the company allows for us to get best practices, if you use that, or how to do this, or how to. We just had a training on
Saturday.
On
I attended
Saturday.
your training on Saturday.
Field Training
training.
101.
Yeah.
How to do it.
And then we had my training on Wednesday, Field Training 101.
That's right. And the
there.
whole idea is capital choice leadership, and we want people to aspire to it.
Right.
We want people to want to get involved. And when you find good people and give them the way, they will. The cream will rise to the top.
Yes,
Always
it's
has.
fun to see that.
And I've said that many times, and I continue to say it. That's part of the culture that my wife Sydney was co-founder with me of Capital Choice all those many years ago. The culture that we wanted to instill in Capital Choice was one of friendship, family. Okay, I've seen organizations where, you know, some of the quote unquote leaders, they get in a fuss, they start tearing each other up and knocking each other down and all that kind of stuff. Whoa, I have never been, and that's been successful, but I've never been a part of a company or been around a company where people shared like they do here at Capital Choice. You know, it's no longer, I mean, in a lot of other companies, okay, well, BML, you're successful. Tell me how you do this. Well, you're competing with me. I ain't telling you that. Go figure that out. Go figure it out yourself. You know, you're on your own.
Or the company segregates the big leaders from the average person just joining the business.
That's not leadership.
That's not leadership at all.
Don't do it. That's chaos. All right, recognition.
Yes, sir. My favorite.
To me,
piece.
key to everything.
It
My
is.
favorite
To me, the key
piece.
to everything. My favorite thing, you know, and I think we've worked very hard over the years as a company, you know, to do recognition. You know, we do a pretty good job at our national
Do a great
conferences.
job.
You know, we do it at 48 hours. We post a leaders bulletin every week. Weekly, we recognize those that did something the week before, and every month when we do our company update, we have a long list of recognition. So recognition is everything and everything else. You know, and what is recognition? All recognition is catch somebody doing something right and publicly recognize it.
That's an amazing concept, Dick.
Well, one of the things we've taken that to the next level in our builder schools. Not only do we recognize the people that came and spoke, we recognize people that are there for the first time, and taking a look at the opportunity, taking a look at recognize people who are newly licensed, and the whole gamut of taking somebody that unexpectedly reward them for doing the right thing.
And you know, along with that, you know, it can be as simple as a T-shirt. You know, a T-shirt, because I was one of those guys. You know, I was literally, before I got started, now I refer back to myself because I am literally a living person who came through this system. And, you know, being in corporate America, I got recognized when I did something wrong. It was never when I did something I thought was good and right.
Well, that was just doing your job.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that was, thank you, Dick. That was just doing my job, right? So, but being recognized when you come into a business model like this really enlightened me to the fact that, my gosh, there is an entity out here that understands that I do have a sign on my chest saying, say something good to me, make me feel special, give me encouragement to go to the next level. I mean, I'm a competitive person. I come out of, you know, athletic background, and coming to our conference this past February, my butt was burning in the seat. You know, I mean, every category, if I don't hear my name, Bill, and I saw you running up there on stage, my butt was burning. I was like, what's going on here? I got to work harder next year. You know, so recognition spurs on, I think, our engine, so to speak.
Well, the funniest thing about it is recognition goes at every level. You know, you can be in an AMD and get recognized. You can be associate and get recognized. The funny thing is that the national conference every year, the company recognizes one person with the Crusaders Cup, and it's fun to watch grown people cry. It really is.
Especially grown men. I love to make grown men
Amazing. Don't look at the videos and past Crusaders Cup. You'll see Bill crying.
That's right.
Let's take it back to the agency building level. Let's talk about the new marketing associate, the new AMD out there that's got a couple of people now, you know, and they're how do they?
Well, can I give you an
should they stay in contact with their folks?
Well, can I give you an
Should they build a
example?
relationship, not just the RMD, not just the company?
Let me give you an example, Dick. I tell you what, man, 2 Saturdays ago, I had a young man, Justin, passed his state exam. He's 19 years old. All right, so his first field training, shall I say, prior to him getting licensed, was his mom. Because his mother wanted to know that he was getting into something, because there's all these types of MLMs out there, all this, that, and the other, right? I got to protect my child, which she was in every right, her right to do that. So we met together and we talked about, you know, the things that Justin was going to be involved in, and that he's going to get a license. And, you know, one of her concerns was, is he really going to get a license, right? So when he got that license, you know, because he has a guy who recruited him. They both went and took the exam on Saturday morning. They both passed. So now Justin's under Antonio, and I took him out to dinner. And they wanted to go to this fancy restaurant in Atlanta. I said, no, we're going to break that down a little bit because y'all got some more licenses to pass. but we had a great time. And this 19-year-old, I said to him, you're 19 years old. You're in business for yourself. What other 19-year-olds have a business for themselves? Just recognize and making him feel good. And you did a big smile on his face. You can just tell he felt like $1 million. And now he's going to do great things. Because why? Because we have the recognition in place that he's now yearning for. He wants more of it. And I'm excited about that.
And Dick mentioned a really interesting point in Capital Choice. It's not just the RMDs passing down recognition.
No.
Shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. It should be at every level passing down. If I am a brand new marketing associate and I brought on an associate, and that associate passed the exam, I should be celebrating that with them.
That's right.
And at every level, and you teach that, and that's a way of leadership, is teaching people how leadership is supposed to look.
Love it.
And inside everybody's agency,
That's right.
there's multiple overrides and there's multiple places for recognition. Inside there, I mean, you know, again, like you talked about, somebody passing their test. That's a big time. First, you mentioned the first sale a while ago. You know, that first live sale, huge time. You know, is it a T-shirt? Is it? I tell you, another thing that's been used by many people over the years. You know, get you printed up some nice little certificates. You know, or you can do something.
I have those,
Give people any kind of recognition. That's right. It doesn't have to be, you know. We're not talking about the $500 check of recognition.
All the time.
We're talking about people love the small stuff. I mean, you know, we've had people here in Capital Choice that fighting over T-shirts.
That's right.
Oh, yes, sir. That's right.
You know, oh my Lord, I didn't get my 6-figure I didn't get my six-figure green T-shirt this year. I'm gonna cry. You know?
And the funny thing is, we've all been there, and we try as leaders to make sure that everyone is recognized in some form or fashion, because it is so key and essential to making people feel good about what they're doing. The recognition, especially when it's unexpected, and that's the.
And there's a little fine point here. You can't recognize people for participation. No. Okay. Can't recognize them just, you know, like so it drives me crazy. You know, kids get a trophy for showing up 2 times out of 5. You know, but bless their heart. But you know what I'm saying. Now it has to be. It doesn't have, all the little things need to be recognized, but it needs to be a step. It needs to be something got accomplished. Absolutely. You know, as they're going along, because again, that's what makes the rest of the people burn. Well, I ain't got that yet. If he can do it, I can, or she can do it, I can. That's right. You know, so that roughly, it's like I've learned this a long time ago from somebody else. Y'all well know. You know, in any meeting, recognizing 30 to 40% of the people for doing something is what you strive for.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
And recognition, verbal is nice, certificates are nice, any form of recognition, as long as you're calling their name.
That's right.
And people get excited when you call their name.
Exactly.
It's human nature.
And you know, again, I keep going back to this stuff. Okay, I'm old school in a lot of ways.
And nothing wrong with it, Dick.
All right,
it works.
Emails ain't it.
No, they're not it, Dick,
If you
because
go-
they're not in public.
If you're gonna pat somebody on the back, do it in front of somebody else, or at least
Praise in public all the time.
And at least if you can't do it in person, do it by telephone. Actually talk to that person. Let them hear the excitement in your voice. Let them hear how much you care about them in your voice, and then publish it. And then publish it so that other people see it at a minimum.
Texts and emails don't work.
No.
It's got to be personal.
It has to. I love it.
All right, final thoughts, leadership, relationships, recognition.
Well, I really feel as though we're on the right track. I truly believe that this type of conversation is transferable and it's duplicatable. That's the most important thing for me, just going through all this, that you don't need a degree, you don't need a certification to be able to do what we're talking about here. This is human nature. This is how people want to be treated, but more importantly, how special is it to be treated this way or trained this way in your workplace and do work and be rewarded for it? So,
Well, and you mentioned it. This is a process.
yes, sir.
You have to start someplace and end up where you want to end up. You want to be an RMD? Great. I'll show you how to get there. But you've got to show your people how to get there.
Yes.
And it's a step-by-step process to make sure you're at that point where you can look back and go, well, okay, these people are in this process, and know that. When a
Because it's measured.
second or third generation downline you need to know about it, and you can pass it on. Did you recognize them? One of the things when I first got to Capital Choice was Dick had said, somebody does the numbers to get promoted, and somebody's holding them back, I'll promote them. And you've done that. You did that for me once with one of my downline. I wasn't holding them back, somebody else was. But the idea is it's all about recognition, doing the right things. And the company leaders bulletin is just one way to do it. That is recognition. But more importantly, local recognition is the key.
That's the key. That's the key to building. That is the key to building good, solid agencies that will produce other good, solid agencies over time, and that is our business model. That's our model. Okay. All right, so build leadership. It's assumed, it's not granted, you're not born with it. Take off, go do it, stay positive, build a great personal relationship with those that are on your team, and recognize them every chance you get. That's it. Chapter 5 closed up on sell the dream and build the team.